a special class for you today. Sorry, I always forget about the recording notification. We have an extra special class for you today because we are celebrating I Love Yarn Week. And normally we'd have our host Marley Bird with us, but something came up, so she was generous enough to loan us her amazing By Crafty bestie Robin Chachula to take us through this fun granny square pattern. My name is Renee L. from Yarn Inspirations, and I'm here with my colleague Laura. We'll be helping with any questions that you might have during today's class. So please feel free to drop your questions in the chat and we'll make sure that Robin answers them. While we're getting ready to kick things off, let us know where you're watching from and if this is your first Granny Square. Over to you, Robin.
Well, thank you, Renee. Thank you, Nicole. It's very exciting to be with you all today with Granny Squares. So if we haven't met before, hi, I'm Robin. It's really nice to meet you. Um, I have to tell you that I have a deep love of Granny Squares. So I have been designing for about 20 years now, crocheting for a lot more. And I still, even with all of the books that I've written, I still come back to a granny square no matter what I'm doing. Whether I have a new yarn, whether I just need to relax, I come to the granny square. Um, Even it's silly, but for a while I was the expert on the PBS show Knit and Crochet Now. And backstage, when you were not on TV, I'd be backstage crocheting granny squares. I love them, like a deep love for granny square. So that's what I'm hoping that you'll come away with today. Um, and just as a reminder, this is a class. So what the greatest thing about this is it's being recorded. So if there's anything that I'm going through that you just aren't getting, you need to rewatch. Well, that's the beauty of this, that they'll have it uploaded for you and you'll be able to rewatch it and slow it down, pause it. That's my favorite part, is that you can pause it and see what was going on there. Um, but we are going to go step through granny squares. And there's a lot of things along the way I want to show you. I was giggling to myself because even while we were chatting beforehand, I was making granny squares. Always making granny squares. Um, but today, all that you need is any yarn. So the pattern calls for Super Saver and an eye hook, which is a 5.5 millimeter hook. But I'm going to let you know we're making coasters and you can make them as big or as small as you want. So grab whatever yarn you have laying around. I would say if this is your first time making granny squares, make sure that you're grabbing something that's smooth. If it has a lot of bumps, or it's textured, it's going to be a little bit harder to learn where to stick your hook and things like that. But otherwise, grab your yarn and you're going to come join me down and we're going to check out what I have going on my table. So our fantastic project for today are these adorable posters. But I'm going to let you know, you might fall in love with this. And these can easily change from a coaster to, ooh, you put four together and sewed them up. Ooh, you got a bag. Or you really, really liked it. And now you have a blanket or a pillow. They get addicting. So let me show you the pattern that we're working on. It's the Easy Square Crochet Coasters by Yarn Inspirations. Um, and honestly, if you are new to this, these are great ones to start with. A lot of times when I'm teaching beginners, I will jump to granny squares because you don't have to worry so much about exactly where you're sticking your hook, except for like one place. So these are really friendly. When I was teaching Girl Scouts for quite a while, I would end up teaching them how to do granny squares because everybody likes a granny square and you can use them for everything. So while we're talking today, if you have the pattern nearby, that's perfect. For me, I'm dyslexic, so I need to have multiple things in front of me so my brain can really hum it all together. So not only the hands, but seeing the words. What I love about this pattern is what you'll notice is every step along the way, every part that you're going to do, your inspiration has a picture of what it looks like. Whew. And if you don't have the pattern, just remember it is in the link. So check the chat. You'll see a link for the pattern because it's really great. The other thing that is wonderful is a lot of the words that you'll see. Crochet, the hardest thing is there's so many abbreviations. We go crazy with abbreviations. But what they've done in this pattern is try to get us rid as many as possible so that you're not wondering so much of what I'm doing. So this is a really great pattern to start with. Now, what I'm also going to be using, which is not in the pattern, is I'm going to be using a stitch diagram. So if you've never seen a stitch diagram before, these have been around with crochet since the beginning of time. They've taken different forms and they look a little different, but basically, if you're familiar with like a paint by number or cross stitch or anything else, what these are doing is telling you what stitch to put where. And what I like the most about them is that when you're done with your shape, you get the same shape here. And it'll easily, when we're talking, it'll be easy to show you, okay, this is where I'm going. And then when we do it, so it's kind of like I'm sneakily going to shove stitch diagrams with our work today, because I think no matter what skill level you're at, having these in your toolbox, whether you understand them 100% or not, they're useful. It's just like having a map of showing you where to go. It's like your GPS. It's wonderful when they're telling you the directions, but it's also nice to see where you're going. And that's how I kind of look at these. All right, let's start at the beginning. As we going through, I'm going to go through a couple of different things that are definitely going to happen while you're crocheting. For instance, I'm gonna use a ball and it's gonna run out of yarn, which will happen. So we're gonna talk about how to join a new ball of yarn. Simple thing to do, but it happens. I'm gonna talk about what's the best way of weaving in your tails. Little things like that make all the difference in your work because you're gonna have done all this beautiful work and you need all those little things. And then of course, because who doesn't love color, we're going to talk about how to change it up. The coasters were done in solid colors, but that doesn't mean that we can't be creative and use as many colors as we want. Because boy, granny squares come alive when you change your color each round. So I'm going to show you an easy way of doing this. Before we get too started, what I want to let you know is that there are a million different ways of doing granny squares. And what I mean by that is sometimes, so sometimes people will call anything that's a motif. So anything that's like a building block, they'll call it a granny square. It could be in any shape you can imagine. Like it could be a flower. They'll call it a granny square. So that can get confusing. Two, you may have learned how to do granny squares when you were little, and they may have started differently. They may end differently. They may end in a corner. They may have chains in between your double crochets. None of that is wrong. That's the cool things about granny squares. This is the way the pattern was written, which is fantastic. You may have learned it slightly different. It's still right. That's the crazy thing about granny squares. Every way you learn is right. I'm just going to teach this one from the pattern today. So I don't want you to get worried of, you know what? I learned it XYZ. Great. Good. It's still right. It's not wrong. Because that can get a little confusing if you're jumping back into crochet. All right. Hopefully by now, with all my yammering, you have your yarn with you and we are ready to get started. So with a stitch diagram, you start in the center because it's where you start when you're doing your work. We're going to work in the center and work our way out. So we're going to start in the center and work our way out. So it's the same thing the way you read. The way you read it is they always have a symbol diagram. So if you think about an oval, well, that's a chain because you think about making a chain, it's just an oval. The slip stitch is always a tiny dot because we can't see our slip stitches. They're like these invisible stitches you never can see. And then we'll have our tall double crochets, which are our tall double crochets. But that's not so much necessary to make these. What's necessary is how to get started. So to how to get started is we're going to put a slip knot on our hook. And to do that, there's many different ways of doing this. So do this whichever way works for you. This is how it works best for me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap my yarn around my finger. So the tail that's attached to the ball of yarn is going to cross over this tail that I'm holding with my fingers. Then I'm going to insert my hook, grab, we call this the working yarn, the yarn that's attached to the ball on your hook, and pull it through. So it makes a little loop on your hook. Then I take these two tails, hold them together, and I pull tight. So once again, I wrap the yarn around my finger. So I've made an X. The working yarn, the one that's attached to the ball, is on top. I insert my hook, grab that working yarn, and pull up. Then I hold these two strands and I pull them closed. And you've done it right if your slip knot can tighten and if it can loosen. That's your slip knot. This is just getting the yarn on your hook. It's just giving you something to work with. All right, now we start with our center ring. To do this, we're going to do chains. Chains is where you yarn over your hook and pull through the loop on your hook. So we made one chain. We're going to yarn over, pull through. So we do 4 chains. So far, chains are easy. I don't want you to stress about, oh, my chains are tight, or oh, my chains are loose, or don't stress about that at all. Because this beginning part, these 4 chains, they are still 100% going to be hidden. So they can look as sloppy as you want. So don't you worry about that. Now, to make a ring, because we now have a line. This is no ring. How am I supposed to work into this? What you're going to do is you're going to insert your hook into the very first chain that you made. So that's the one that's farthest away from your hook. That's the first one you're going to insert your hook, and we're going to do a slip stitch. So another stitch. But luckily, it's only 3 stitches, so you've already done a chain. Now we're going to do a slip stitch. So you're going to insert your hook. Now, if we look at a chain, there is these top 2 loops on the right side of your stitch, and then there's these bumps on the back side of your stitch. I do not care where you stick your hook. It does not matter. And throughout what we're going to do, I'm going to let you know if it ever matters. So I'm going to stick my hook anywhere in this first one. So I'm inserting through 1 strand of that first chain, yarning over, pulling up a loop, and pulling through my loop on my hook. That's what made a slip stitch. And it turned that straight line into a circle. So let's do that one more time. We have these chains. We have these 4 chains. They made a line. All that we're going to do is insert our hook into any strand of the very first chain. Again, remember, the first chain is the furthest one away from our hook. That was the first one we made. Insert our hook, yarn over. Now what we're going to do is we're going to pull through this first chain. That's what this loop is, and the loop on our hook. So we're going to pull through the first chain and then pull through the loop on our hook. And it makes a cute little dot. So that's the first part. And if you go back to your pattern, you'll see that I'm going step by step through this until you have your first chain. So this is why this pattern is so fantastic. It's not, skipping anything. You can see everything that you're doing. Now we're into our first round. We're into the first, it will eventually look like a little cross. What happens here is the whole setup for everything that we're doing. What's going to happen is we have to crochet 3 chains to get tall. Because in crochet, whenever you're doing tall stitches, you need to crochet up high to get there. Otherwise you're back at the beginning, but it's like, think of it as a mountain. Well, these double crochets, they're like the top of the mountain. They're really, really tall. We're all the way down here at the valley, so we got to get up here. So we're going to crochet 3 chains, and then we end up starting to do these double crochets. And when it comes to granny squares, true granny squares, they all have these 3 double crochets in a group. So they're a group of 3 double crochets separated by some chains. For us, our corners are going to be these chain 3 corners. And if you look out for when we do the next rounds, you'll see it's going to be a group of 3 double crochets separated by chain 3s, and that will repeat all the way out. So this is like a great setup of what we're doing. Okay. So a couple of things as we go. If you have some stitch markers by you, they will definitely come in handy. If you don't stress about it. I just want to go through and give you a little bit of help along the way. So, plus, if you are familiar with my partner in crime, Marley Bird, she is obsessed with stitch markers. Everything we do over at marleybird.com is everything she does is with stitch markers. So it is really helpful. If it's too much for you, don't do this. So it's not necessary. It's just a little like, ooh, if you have them, great. If you don't worry about this. All right, so we're going to do what the stitch diagram and the pattern told us to do. Is I'm going to chain 3. So this is 1, yarn over, pull through, 2, yarn over, pull through, 3. So we made 3. So now it's like a little ball at the bottom and a chain 3. What we like to do is, because when you are all the way back around, you're going to have to go into this 3rd chain that you made. So we like to put a stitch marker right at that 3rd chain. So it just reminds you of, oh, this is the top right here, Robin. That's where I'm supposed to go. That's all that stitch marker is for. If you can see where that is when you're doing your work, you don't need that. So don't worry about it. Okay, now we're going to do our fun part. So if I know you can't see it, but if you do kind of give yourself a little wiggle, 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 there is a hole down here. There is a ring. It's not a solid space. So just give yourself a little wiggle room, and you can see with your finger that there's a hole. This is where we're inserting all of our stitches that we're going to do in this hole. So I kind of like to wiggle, wiggle, wiggle so I can see where I'm going. I'm going to tell you your hook is going to know where to go, because there's a big hole here. It's going to be a lot easier to insert your hook into the hole versus any of these stitches. All right, now we get into double crochets. So the first pattern, you can kind of think of this as your first double crochet. So we need 2 more double crochets. What we're going to do is you yarn over your hook, insert your hook into the ring. From behind, you yarn over, pull up a loop. You have 3 loops on your hook. You yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So that nice beauty is called the double crochet. And don't worry if you didn't get it, because we're going to do it a whole bunch more. So let me show you. What you do is you yarn over. We're always going to go into the same hole that it was made. So we're going to insert our hook into the ring, into the big hole. Then from behind, you yarn over. And in my case, you can see I'm twisting my hook. So it's not even like a yarn over. It's like it just crossed in front of my hook so that my hook can grab that yarn and pull it up. And when I'm pulling, I'm also twisting up. You'll notice that my hook will now be at the top. So then to complete this stitch, we're going to yarn over And you'll notice when I'm pulling through 2, I twist down and through to make it easier for myself. So I'm scooping down and up when I work my double crochets. I yarn over again. You twist down and pull up. All right, let's do that setup one more time just to make sure everybody has a little bit of time to do their setup. So again, the first double crochets, you yarn over your hook, insert it into the hole. Think of this as a ring, and we're inserting it into the hole. It's where it's going to be easy to insert your hook. So right now you have like 2 loops on your hook, and you're going to what's called yarn over. But that can be confusing for the beginner because really what all it's doing is it's crossing over your hook so that you can scoop it from behind and pull it up. And then you work them off. So we yarn over. That's our true yarn over. I was yarning over my hook. And I'm going to head downhill and scoop up. Yarn over again. True yarn over. Scooping up to make our pretty double crochet. And now we do it one more time. So yarn over your hook. Insert your hook into the ring. Yarn over. Pull up a loop. You have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over. Pull through 2. Yarn over. Pull through 2. All right. So this is like our first group of 3 double crochets. Now we're going to repeat around is we're going to do chain 3, then 3 double crochets. Chain 3, 3 double crochets. The chain 3s are not going to count as a stitch like they did down here. It's going to just count as a corner. Think of it as when you're looking at the granny square. We need something to make these corners, these holes, and that's where we're going to put it. So we're going to 1, 2, 3. Remember the chains where you yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. Now we're going to put 3 more double crochets into the hole. So yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And again, yarn over, insert your hook into the ring, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And one more time, yarn over, insert your hook into the ring, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So now you have 2 sets of these 3 double crochet groups, and you have a corner. I like to mark my corners just so that if you get going, you make sure you have 4 corners, because I won't tell you how many times you'll do this because you're just working in the ring, and you end up with 5 corners or 6 corners because you kind of forget to stop crocheting. So it's nice to have it because you're like, nope, I have too many there because I have my stitch markers to show me where to go. Again, optional, not necessary if you don't want to do it. All right, so let's repeat all those directions. We chain 3, then we do 3 double crochets, yarn over, insert your hook into the ring, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, again, yarn over, insert into the ring, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Once again, yarn over, insert into the ring, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Second corner done. Third crochet group done. And again, chain 3. We're going to put in our last group of 3 double crochets. So yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. You'll notice when you have done it a bunch, it now really looks like a hole because you want to always be inserting your hook in the same spot so it looks like it's all covered up and that hole, really starts to show itself. But as you can see, like we were talking about, those beginning chain fours are gone. You can't see them. Doesn't matter what they look like. It didn't matter at all. All right. Now we have our third corner done. I'm going to mark that one as well. And we just have our last corner to make. So that's a 1, 2, 3, a chain 3. Now this is where this first stitch marker comes into play. What happens is the pattern tells you to slip stitch to the top of your chain 3. That means that beginning chain 3, this starting point, you need to go all the way to the top into the third loop that you made. Now, if you have it marked, you know exactly where to insert your hook because you're going to insert your hook exactly where that stitch marker is. So I am just inserting my hook the same place as my stitch marker. I'm yarning over, pulling up a loop, and pulling through the loop on my hook. That was the slip stitch. Okay, let's look at it as if you don't have the stitch marker, how you can tell where to stick your hook. So if you don't have that in there where you can, easily put your hook in there, what you want to do is find your first true double crochet, the one that's all done. So this is my first one that's all done. That means that this column over here, this vertical line, that was my beginning chain 3. All I need to know is I need to insert my hook somewhere at the top here. So I know that this is the top. I can see this is the top of my double crochet. I just need to insert my hook somewhere up here. Again, it doesn't matter if you're grabbing 2 strands or 1 strand. You just want to end up at the top. So you insert your hook to the top. So the only thing you'd be doing wrong is if you inserted your hook at the bottom, down here in the hole. As long as it's somewhere at the top, your slip stitch will be just fine. So we're going to yarn over and pull through the loop on our hook. That's the slip stitch. We can mark our 4th corner. So then we can go, ooh, look, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 corners. That's just what I wanted for my granny square. And we bring in our granny square. You can see it is a square, just like our square. So this is perfect. It's a great setup. Again, what's fabulous with your pattern is it has it all shown for you. So everything is shown for you as what it should look like when you start and when you end. This is perfect. And if you need to see it along the way anywhere, you can just pause the video after we're all done and take a look. So that's pretty awesome too. All right.
Robin, sorry, we just
Yeah.
had a question. Oh goodness, chat is moving. Sorry guys, one sec, just scrolling. Sue said, how many times do we insert the hook before we chain 3 again? Trying to think of where we would have been.
So,
Oh, okay, I work 2 double crochets, chain 3, 3 double crochets. So it would be it would be like that sequence of stitches all in the same.
yes. So
Yeah,
I think, yeah. So before we chain 3 again, you do 3 double crochets and then you chain 3 again.
perfect.
So inserting your hook is, I guess, 3 times.
Yeah, I think that answers it.
Okay.
Yeah, all good.
All right. Let's move forward. If you don't have yours to this level, don't stress, please. When learning new things, it takes a while to go back and get it and see it on your own work. So feel free to just watch, and I promise it will come. But let's move forward so you can see the next round. The next round, what we're basically going to be doing is we're going to be putting our corners, whatever we're going to be always doing in our corners, we're going to be placing them here. So that means we're going to do 3 double crochets, chain 3, 3 double crochets in these big holes. Now, we want to get to a hole because right now our stitch is right here. So how do we get there? The stitch diagram and the pattern tell you really easily how you're going to get there. It's going to be by a lot of slip stitches. So basically, what it's telling you to do is you're going to do these 3 slip stitches to get over to your first corner. And then in your corner, you're basically going to do the same pattern of stitches each time in your corner, which is 3 double crochets, chain 3, 3 double crochets. You're going to do that in each one of your corners. But again, we have this little thing of when I was talking about being in the top of the mountain or the bottom of the valley. When we're slip stitching across, we're going to be at the bottom. That's why the very first thing we're going to do is this chain 3 again, just like we did it at the beginning of round 1. That's just to get us tall. We need to get to the top of this mountain because all of these double crochets are tall stitches. So this is the tricky thing about crochet. No matter what, whenever you're going in the round, it's always the beginning and the ends are always a little bit different. Everything in between, usually there's a repeat that you can find and you start doing the same thing. So this first corner will be slightly different than all the rest. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at that and do that all together. So what we're working in round 2 is we're putting our stitches in this giant hole. You are not going into chains, you're not going into stitches, you're putting it in this giant hole each time. These are our corners, and this is where we're going to be putting our stitches. Now, our working yarn is way over here. That is not at one of the corners. So this is why we're going to slip stitch across to get over here. That's the only reason we're doing this. And this little slip stitch across is where older, different granny square patterns may change. So if you learned it to end it a different way, that's totally fine. This is just the way that this pattern does it. But all granny squares, you need to get you over here somehow. This is how we're going to do it. What we're going to do is we're going to do a slip stitch in each one of these 2 double crochets and then into this chain space. So a slip stitch again is insert your hook into the stitch. For me, I'm going through the top 2 loops of my double crochet. I'm going to yarn over, pull up a loop, and pull through that loop on my hook. But don't worry, if you grabbed 1 strand instead of grabbing 2 strands, so I don't want you to stress yourself out here. Just insert your hook into the next double crochet. I'm going through the 2 top loops. I'm yarning over, pulling up a loop, and then pulling through the loop on my hook. That was my second slip stitch. And look at them. You can't even see where they are. They hide in the background. And that's why they're these like master little stitches, because you can get you places without having too much bulk or anything added. All right. Now we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to work in this hole. So I'm not working in any of these chains. I'm working in the hole. I'm inserting my hook into this corner, into the void, yarning over from behind, pulling up a loop, and then pulling through the loop on my hook. So I slip stitched over 3 times to get where I want to be. Now, in each of these corners, we're doing a double crochet. We're doing a 3 double crochet group. So a group of 3 double crochets with a chain 3 and 3 double crochets. But like I was saying, double crochets are high. They're going to be way up here, and we are down here. So to get up there, we're going to chain 3. I know it's confusing because the corners are also chain 3s, but just look at them as they're 2 different functions. This chain 3 is operating as a stitch, is operating as a double crochet. It's getting us tall. And again, I'm going to use my stitch marker to mark where I'm going to insert my hook when I come back around. And now I'm going to finish off what really should be in here. It should be a group of 3 double crochets, chain 3, 3 double crochets. But we're going to count this one as our first double crochet. So I'm going to do 2 more double crochets, yarn over, insert your hook into the big hole, pull up a loop. So it's the easy way of doing it. Yarn over, pulling through 2, yarn over, pulling through 2. So again, yarn over, insert your hook into the big hole. From behind, I'm pulling up a loop, then yarn over, pulling through 2, yarn over, pulling through 2. So this 3 double crochet to get us tall, that beginning chain, is just acting as a stitch. So this is looking like a block of double crochets. Now we chain 3 in between them, because this is going to be our new corner for the next round. So I'm going to remove my stitch marker. It's not really needed anymore. You'll be able to see your corners real well. And I'm going to do another group of 3 double crochets. So I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, insert my hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, insert my hook. And again, remember when I'm pulling, all I'm doing is I'm using my hook to do the work. I'm crossing, my yarn crosses over and I pull it up. So I have 3 loops on my hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. But what's great about this is there's no worry of like where exactly you're sticking your hook, because you're sticking it in the big hole to do all of your work. Okay, this is where we start to repeat. We're going to do a group of 3 double crochets, chain 3, 3 double crochets in each one of these corners that we have left. So everything will now repeat. It will look just like this, because remember, this first 3 double crochet we don't have to do anymore. All right, we're going to do 3 double crochets in the next corner. So if you have it marked, it's the next marked corner. So again, yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Chain 3. Yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And again. So if you're still first doing these double crochets, I call it like the twist, getting your twist down of how to twist it down and pull up is really helpful when you're doing taller stitches. So when you're finished with your second corner, this is what it looks like. You have that group of 3, chain 3, and then a group of 3, just like you do down here. They look real similar. And we'll repeat all of this in the next one. So again, we're going to do in the next big hole, in the next big chain space, yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop. And this is what I mean by the twist. I yarn over and I twist it down and then pull it back up. I twist it down so I can pull through, and then I twist it back up. But just because that's how I like to do it, it's like twist it down, pull it up. You do whatever is working best for you. If that helps you, use it. If it doesn't, just ignore me. Everybody has their own way of crocheting and they're all right. So yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through two, pull through two. That's our next double crochet. We'll chain three, one, two, three. So this will become our next corner. Yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through two, yarn over, pull through two, yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through two, yarn over, pull through two, and again, yarn over, insert your hook, pull through two, pull through two. After a while, you're going to get to be a complete pro at these. So take a pause so you can pause it later. This is what it looks like when you have three done. And now we just have this last one ready for us. We're going to do the exact same set of instructions. 3 double crochets, 3 chains, 3 double crochets. Yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop. Yarn over, pull through two, yarn over, pull through two. Yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop. Yarn over, pull through two. Yarn over, pull through two. Again. We will do our next chain 3. This is going to become our last corner, our 4th corner. We yarn over and finish off with our last 3 double crochets for this round. And now we are back at the beginning. So if you have your stitch marked, you know exactly where to slip stitch, exactly where to put your hook, because you'll have that stitch marked. So again, when you come to join it together, it's just like joining it together on the first round. You insert your hook into the top of the beginning chain, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then pull through the loop on your hook. If you don't have it marked, let me show you what it looks like. So if it's not marked, what you want to do is you're going to look at it as, okay, this was my first completed double crochet, which means I need to insert my hook somewhere up here, either through 1 strand or 2 strands. It doesn't matter, but it needs to be up top. I do not want to insert my hook down here. That will set me a little wonky, you know, it will join it the wrong way. I want to be way up here. So anywhere at the top here is where you want to insert your hook. You're going to insert it into the top of your beginning chain 3, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then pull through the loop on your hook. And you've completed round 2. And once again, you go to your pattern and it shows you exactly what we just did, the join, and what it looks like when you're all done, which is fantastic. So as you move into round 3, they start showing you just what it looks like when you're all done, which is fine. We only have 2 more rounds. And because basically all of these interior parts you've already seen. So it's gonna still, your corners are still gonna look like your corners from before. So don't, get a little worried that there's less here. You don't need it. You don't need it at all. All right, just so you can pause the video later and see what it looks like. This is what round 2 looks like. All right, now we're going to move into round 3. Round 3 is what you will repeat pretty much as many times as you want. In this little coaster, there's 4 rounds, but the whole idea is done in round 3, so you'll get the idea. What happens if I go back to my little stitch diagram so you can see where we are? We've completed round 2, and now we're ready for round 3. And this is where I really like stitch diagrams to kind of clearly show you where you are, especially for me, I get dyslexic. So all of those words get jumbled up in my head. It's a lot easier to see like a little visual of what's going on. So that's why I'm kind of going through this to help you if it also helps you a lot. We're working on round 3, which is the next part. There's always in a stitch diagram tells you what round you're on. But what I like about it is kind of picking out the pieces that we've already done. So in round 2, when we got to corners, we were doing 3 double crochets, chain 3, 3 double crochets. Well, that same thing is happening here. Whenever we're at a corner means when we're ever at a chain 3 space, we're doing the same thing that we've already done. We already know how to do all this. We already know how to begin it. We've done all this. All of that is not new information. Like all of these slip stitching over, getting up, that's all the same as we did in round 2. The differences are these little groups here. And this is how you make your granny square bigger. What's going to happen is there's a space in between your groups of 3 double crochets, and you're going to put 3 double crochets. With other granny squares, sometimes they'll put like a chain here. It doesn't matter. However you learned it, doesn't matter. In this pattern, we're not going to do that. We're just going to do 3 double crochets in between on our, you can look at them as on the sides of our work, and then do the same thing we did in the corners before. So let's take a look at what round 3 looks like. And throughout this round, I'm getting low on my little ball of yarn. So I'm going to show you how to change your yarn. Like, what if you run out of yarn? How do you change your yarn? We're going to do that on this round as well. All right. So we started the same way we started round 2. We need to slip stitch over. So we are going to insert our hook. Again, I'm going through the top 2 loops of the next double crochet. Yarn over, pulling up a loop, and pulling through my loop on my hook. Again, I'm going to insert my hook into the next double crochet, yarn over, insert my hook, pull up a loop, and pull through my loop on my hook. I've just done 2 slip stitches. And if you look from before, these are the slip stitches from before. They're very hidden, which is kind of nice. And the whole reason we're doing it is because we want to start in our first corner, which is right here. So I'm going to do it once again. I'm just doing a slip stitch into that corner. And now I can go ahead and do our corner. So again, just a reminder, we are going to chain 1, 2, 3. And we do that just to get tall because we were working really low. These double crochets are tall. We needed to get tall as well. So this chain 3 is counting like a double crochet. But we're going to do the same thing that we normally do. So if I count this as 1 double crochet, I need 2 more. So we're going to do 1, 2 double crochets. Then we chain 3 to get ourselves a corner. 1, 2, 3. So remember, this does not count as a corner. This is our corner. This will make our hole. Then 3 double crochets. That's our corner. So I like to think of it as a unit. I do 3 double crochets, 3 chains, 3 double crochets in every corner. That is what I'm going to do in every corner till I'm done. That is what will happen in your corner. So it's going to happen again here and here and here. That's what happens in our corners for our entire project. Like for all of the granny squares, no matter what round your arm, you have the same stitches in your corners. Now, on what we call like our sides, look at these as like our sides of our work. In between these 2 groups of 3 double crochets is a hole. It's a space made because these are tall stitches and they came together. So there's a little space in here. This is where we will be inserting our hook. It's not a chain space. It's not a stitch. It's in the hole. It's the easy place to insert your hook. That's where you're going to be putting a group of 3 double crochets here and here and here to mimic what you have going on. So let's go ahead and do it. We're going to put 3 double crochets, and I'm going in the space in between these 2 groups. So I'm inserting my whole hook into the space. Yarn over, pulling up a loop. Then yarn over, pulling through 2, just a regular double crochet. I'm going to do it again in the same spot. I'm putting my double crochet into that hole. I'm working around the tops of those stitches so it will look like just like when we're working around the chains in our corners. So when that's done, let me place it down so you'll be able to take a pause shot later. You can see we're working in the hole. Okay, let's keep going. Let's go in the corner, and then I'm going to show you how to change your yarn when you need to, because look, we're getting real low. I'm going to start thinking about, ooh, I might have to change to a new ball, because it always happens. You run out of yarn, you need to add a new ball. So again, I'm in my corner. You can see I'm starting to go pretty fast because I know corners, that's 3 double crochets, chain 3, 3 double crochets. Nothing has changed in these corners. That part's staying the same. Now I'm back to my side. That means in this hole here. So look at it as you're like going across. This hole needs 3 double crochets. So you can almost stick your finger in there if you want to know where to go, but insert your hook into the hole, not into a stitch, into the void. So yarn over, pull up a loop, and put your 3 double crochets. So that's 1 double crochet. This is 2 double crochets. This is 3 double crochets. All right. Pause it for you. This is what looks like when you have 2 corners and 2 sides done. Now we're going to go into the next corner once again and do the same thing. This is 3 double crochets, chain 3, 3 double crochets. But let's say that I don't have a lot of yarn left, and I'm really thinking, you know what? Let's add a new ball because I'm getting a little worried. I'm getting low and I need more to finish it. This is how you add it. What you want to do is you want to have a good amount of yarn left, because what's going to happen is you're going to need to weave these in. And if you end up with just a little bit, all of your ends start to work their way out. So I always like to finish when I have, say like 12 inches of yarn left, so that I have a lot to work with. 6 inches is just fine too. Just don't do it when you only have a tiny little bit left. It's not enough. Now I like to change my yarn when I'm working one of the tall stitches. I don't like changing my yarn, like adding in the new ball when I'm working in the chains. So if you need to add a new ball, especially with a granny square, what I like to do is I like to do it in the middle double crochet. So even if I have a little bit left over, I will change it in the middle of the 3 double crochets. No good reason at all. It's just, I always do it in the same spot. All right, to do this, what you're going to do is you're going to yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop. You have 3 loops on your hook. What's going to happen is when we pull through, when we're ready to, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. When we're ready to pull through our last 2, we're going to fold in our new ball, and it's going to secure it for us to be able to work with it. So let me show you. We're going to yarn over, pull through 2. Then I'm going to fold in my new ball, obviously same color, and pull through 2. So Again, leave yourself a nice long bit to work with, and then just ignore those and now use the new ball. So yarn over, pull through two, pull through two. So it looks like nothing's happened. It's just now you have these ends back here that you can weave in. So let me show you that one more time, how to add a new ball. When you get to wherever, I like to change my yarn in the middle of the three. If I have to add a new ball, this is a new ball of yarn. This is not a new color. This is just a new ball of yarn. I will yarn over, insert my hook, pull up a loop. So I'm just doing a double crochet. I'm going to yarn over, pull through two. So I'm doing like half of the double crochet. Then I'll take my new ball with the same color. All I'm doing is folding it over with a nice long tail and folding it over and pulling through the last two. So it completes that stitch. You can see the stitch is all complete. It looks exactly the same as the last one. And now I just continue using the new yarn. It's always nice to know where to do it because it happens no matter what you do. I always like to have long tails so it's easier for me to weave in. But that's just one way. You can add a new ball lots of different ways. That's just the way I like to do it on granny squares. Okay, we're going to continue. We have 3 double crochets to put into that hole. And we have now done 3 corners and 3 sides. So that's what it looks like. Just again, you don't have to change your yarn. I just want to make sure you knew how to do it. All right, we're going to do our last corner and our last side. We're going to yarn over, insert our hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Again, the corner is exactly the same as you've been doing. So that means 3 double crochets in the corner, chain 3, that becomes your new corner, and 3 double crochets again. So fantastic. Our last corner is done. And we just finish up with this last part here. So 3 double crochets in this big hole. All right, so just so you can pause and see what it looks like, we have our 1, 2, 3, 4 corners for next time, our next round. We have our 4 sides done. We're ready to join. The join is the same way we've been doing. So if it's marked, insert your hook where it's marked. If it's not marked, so I did not mark this, insert your hook into the top of the chain 3 with a slip stitch. Excuse me. And that there is through round 3. And so this is what you see in the pattern. It's all done. Now, what we haven't talked about yet is what you want to do if you want to add a new color. So before you go, I want to show you how to add a new color because it's really, really easy. So just stick with me for another minute. What happens to do round 4 is exactly the way we've done round 3. You're going to slip stitch over to the corner, do your corner, and then look, you have holes again where you will put your double crochets. But what if you want to change your color? You could have changed your color on every round. So how you can do that is you can fasten off because you don't need that anymore. All you're going to do is you're going to take your tail and pop it through the hole. And that's it. It's not going anywhere. It's all done. To join a new color, you don't have to slip stitch over in either color. You can just fasten off because you're going to fasten off anyway. And we're going to just join our color to the corner. So if I want to join my color, I start again with a slip knot on my hook. So again, we're making the X. I'm pulling up the loop. So I have a slip knot on my hook. I'm going to go to the very first corner and I'm going to do a slip stitch to join this yarn to this corner. So I'm going to insert into the hole, pull up a loop, pull through my loop on my hook. So now my new color is joined. And now just ignore that it's, oops, crocheting with my tail. Let's do the slip stitch again. Insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through the loop on your hook, slip stitch. And now just chain 3 and go ahead and do the corner as you have been doing the corner. And now you're using your new color. So that is just an option. The only difference is you don't have to do those slip stitch over at the beginning. You just slip stitch to here and start your new color. So that's the only thing that's different between these two. Is they're both 4 rounds. It's just I snap fastened off my color and join a new one for each round. And that's how you get the cute little look of it. But either way, they're a great, useful tool because from here, sure, these absolutely could be coasters as the pattern calls for, but come on, creativity wise, you guys, sky's the limit once you learn how to do it. And even though that the pattern is only for 4 rounds, you can easily keep adding. You know what to do in the corners, those always stay the same. And then you can always add another group of 3 double crochets each round. You know where they go on the side. So you can keep making this as big as you want it to go. So it's very fun. But again, if you're new to this, please rewatch this, pause it whenever you need it, and you'll be good to go. So I'm just very thankful that you've all joined me today. I hope you've had a little fun with granny squares. Don't worry if you didn't make a bunch of them. It takes a little bit of practice, which is new with all new things, but I have certainly loved. Hopefully you found a little bit of love for our fabulous granny square. If you want more granny square patterns, you are in luck because both Michael's and Your Inspirations, both their websites have a ton of information and a ton of projects and really just wonderful things. If you've gone through all of those, come check out where Marley and I work. So Marley Bird and I are a team, and marleybird.com, we have a whole bunch more things. So hopefully it just gives you a little bit of spark and you can enjoy the rest of your wonderful afternoon. But thanks for having me today, everybody.
Amazing. All right. Thank you everyone so much for joining us. Thank you, Robin, for teaching us. This was an amazing class. As mentioned, it is I Love Yarn Week, and the theme this year for I Love Yarn Day, which was on the 14th, was Make One, Teach One. So it's all about spreading the love of craft to your loved ones, teaching them to knit and crochet. So we hope that you take what you learned today and you master it, and then you teach somebody else. And when you do that, don't forget to share your work with hashtag Make It With Michaels and hashtag Yarnspo, YARNSPO. We love to see what you're working on. It makes our job so much fun. And just a reminder that you can find more classes on michaels.com and the recording of today's class at michaels.com/classes. And it'll also be on YouTube, I believe, within 24 hours as well. All right. Thanks, y'all. Have a great day. Bye.